So, we are clearly overdue for some videos. So, if you see me with the same shirt for 4 videos, it's because I did them all in the same day. I'm not dirty. I washed my behind. I can promise you that. Anyway, you know what we're here to talk about. You know what we're here to talk about. I have been. I've been reading. I've been reading. I've been reading. Sorry for the sniffling. And I read the recent couple chapters of JJK. I'm caught up, obviously, and I realized that my biggest pet peeve so far is believability and versatility. Throughout this whole fight, Sukuna didn't really show much, and I think that that's kind of like that's my red flag. You know, it could be different for everyone else. I think you should have your own experience when it comes to reading this. But here's my problem: we just got Fuga, right? Which is fine. Which is fine. I have no complaints. No complaints at all. That's what it should have been. I guess for me, the caliber of sorcerer that Sukuna is, I was expecting more like less binding vow text. I mean, like, but no, I like the binding vows because he's able to pull off everything that he wants to by limiting something, and we just don't know what he's limiting, which in some instances makes me feel like it's like a cop out because the amount of binding vows he's put on this whole fight is crazy. It's like I don't even remember how many binding vows he's put on. But the thing about it is that at the end of the chapter, we get to see something. We get to see something special. When Yuji and Toto are throwing them. Oh, by the way, Toto's back with the Viper slap. Hit him with the band instruments. That man could teleport 50 times off of that because it does a lot of shaking. Pause. But anyway, when Yuji and Toto are fighting Sukuna at the end of the chapter, we get two details. Now, the original translation, or the TCB translation, I will have to reread that. But to my knowledge, at this point in the fight, you excuse me, Sukuna has just as much cursed energy as Yuta. I believe that's the implication. Let me make sure. Yeah, Sukuna has as much cursed energy as Yuta, apparently reduced. But even my thing is that so we've always known Yuta to have what you would call boundless curse energy, and Gojo to have infinite curse energy. Whereas Gojo doesn't run out of curse energy because he replenishes it and uses it efficiently. So it's kind of like a cycle of reduce, reuse, and recycle. But for Yuta, he just has a ginormous pool. And to think that Sukuna has twice that much is kind of crazy because for what he's doing, you would expect more. And I guess that's my thing as well is like, how does he have so much cursed energy left with the damage being done? But I guess damage done doesn't mean you lose cursed energy. But when I think about the fight with Gojo before this, and I think about all the fights coming after, Cleave dismantle, Fuga was probably needed a lot earlier. But let me say this. I'm gonna go back and read the fight like in one sitting to see if it actually is like the pacing and the switcheroos are really that bad. Ooh, excuse me. Tired. But I shouldn't be tired. I've just been reading manga all night. It's not a problem, not a problem. Make sure you guys get your greatest sleeps in. But, Lord, something's in my eye. I say that to say that aside from the curse energy thing, I just really need Sukuna to show more. He's been alive for so long, and I get it. We only have one curse technique that's ingrained in the body. However, we do have what you call it. Wow. Application. That's what it is. Cleave, dismantle, and fuga are clearly a is clearly his curse technique that's part of something bigger. And I think that I find it not believable that throughout this whole fight, Sukuna has strictly used cleave and dismantle and Black Flash to contend with these people. And I guess Yuji's negating the effects of his Black Flash. There's just a lot of inconsistencies, at least from me reading for the first time. I don't understand where Gege is trying to go, and although I appreciate this Black Flash back and forth, because I know what it means for Yuji, and I know what it means for Sukuna for the story. So I respect it, and I think it should still be there. But I think the repercussions of those things, like the curse energy spiking on both ends, is kind of like okay, all right, because they say that if Sukuna's cursed energy is reduced to Yuta's cursed energy, like that's still not like a small feat. And I guess my question is the way that they talk about Sukuna in his cursed energy pool, does all of his moves require a ginormous amount of cursed energy? You're telling me that he can't do minor like cursed energy attacks, well, not cursed energy attacks, cursed energy reinforced attacks that from his curse technique that don't have to cost a lot? I mean, that's the implication I got from it. But anyway, the biggest thing of them all, Mr. Gojo Satoru, the ghost of Sparta, the ghost of Jujutsu, Sakuda's PTSD. If he's back, there are some problems I have. There are a lot of problems I have. And I'm hoping it's not Kenjaku with the stitches. I'm really hoping it's not him. Let me tell you why. Gege chose to off screen Gojo in a way that discredits the whole story for who Gojo is and what he's participated in. Of course, it was a good ending for Gojo as a character, potentially. I'm not mad at that. I do believe that there is some misfires. For example, Kenjaku and Gojo, where was that interaction? That was needed. They're former best friends. Kenjaku's in the body of his best friend. Like I wish we had that, but instead they've been like dancing around it. Now it could obviously change in future chapters, but for me, that's my gripe I have to pick. Gojo and Kenjaku, the story behind them, or even the story behind Geto, in addition, because Geto's body was fighting back a little bit. Why aren't we seeing that? Why aren't we seeing that connection play out? It's the same thing for Yuji and Kenjaku. We didn't see that connection play out. And that's one of the things that kind of irritates me or has me frustrated is because if Gege is going to do this, then I'm wrong. I'll shut my mouth. But if not, we're missing key story elements that have been building throughout the whole series. And so it's kind of like, oh, let's just throw this away, especially with Kenjaku and Takaba. Like the Kenjaku Takaba fight was great. I liked it a lot. It was different. It wasn't the same thing that we usually see, and it was enjoyable. But when you think about the story behind Kenjaku and other characters in the cast, like Yuta, like Yuji, like Gojo, there's so many layers that we spent the whole series trying to showcase and implement that never got fulfilled to this day. So to me, it's like we're misfiring on so many cylinders. But I'm not only going to say that this has been negative. I really enjoy Jujutsu Kaisen. It's in my top 5. A lot of people don't like that. But the fact of the matter is there are some things that have fallen short. Have fallen short. And this chapter, I think, is a good start. And hopefully when I go back and I read it all in one sitting, hopefully it like, you know, actually brings back some life into it. I will say Chozo passing, mm, that shook me. Sniffling everything to the microphone, my bad. That shook me. And then Toto coming to help out is perfect. It's just That right there was a good that was a good use of writing. That was good writing, and I'm pleased by it. It was impactful. It was personal. It was one of the first times Yuji acknowledged Chozo as an older brother. Like it was good stuff. But the implications of Gojo coming back, he can't fight Sukuna. I do not want Gojo to come back and jump Sukuna. I would prefer Gojo if he actually would come back to do a one-on-one, run his fade back. I do not want him to jump. It does not make sense to. And in addition, I almost forgot the very key thing that makes me angry. Stop using Urarame to gas up Sukuna. I want to see the fight between Hikari and Urarame. Just give us that. Let us see that conclude, and then Urarame can gas up Sukuna all you want. I'm tired of seeing it off screen. Like, everyone wants to see that fight. I want to see it too. Like, why are we doing this off screen? I want to see it. I want to see the gamble with the ice. I want to see the maximum curse technique, the domain expansion. So, like, why are we playing with this? Let me see the fight. That's all I got to say. Keep reading. Peace.